Today is Series 2, Episode 3. Oh! Do you like that I'm making it sound like it's like a series and that we've got episodes? Look, I'm just a consummate professional who likes things done properly, all right? So that's just what it is. How are you this week? Have you been well? Are you good? Are you happy? Have you been productive? Are you safe? Now, look, I don't know what things have been like for you in your neck of the woods, but in Australia, we've had a little bit of toing and froing with borders closing and opening, and I think there's a lot of confusion at this stage in terms of what this means for work, especially in the creative industries. So I think we're all just being super vigilant, listening for, what the latest restrictions are, and hoping, fingers crossed, that we get to be this power force in the world of content creation. Well, we are already, but we're hoping we'll hold on to that title. Well, look, let me tell you about what I've been doing this week, because I'm sure you want to know. I've had a super busy week. We had our first Zoom course. Look at me and my technology, right? It was fantastic. It was the TV producer upskill course, where we talked about storytelling, casting, and great producing, and interview skills as well. Amazing turnout, beautiful, talented people joined us, and it was really, really nice. I think there's something to be said for being able to sit at home in your PJs and your Uggs and be taught. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I obviously had my stilettos on and a ball gown, obviously. Anyway, we had fantastically talented mentors, Bloomtime Media mentors. Denise Erickson, who's a former ABC and SBS boss, joined us, and Natalie Long, also TV executive producer extraordinaire. So it was a pretty cool course, and I'm hoping to do it again. It was such a success, I want to go again. So you just let me know if you'd be interested, because I'm thinking of running it in about a month. So you've got time to move your schedule around, move that Pilates class. Yeah? Don't make the sourdough that day. Perhaps put down the pitchfork, go inside, and join the Zoom course. All right. I've also had a good old clear out. I'll show you what I found later. I also nearly concussed myself at Zumba. Sometimes you have to bear in mind that you're nearly 50 and you can't be going around whipping your nay-nay. Anyway, so if I recover from the suspected spider bite that I have on my hip, we'll be continuing this fantastic show that is How to Come Out on Top. Look, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Yana Groves. I've worked on a plethora of unscripted formats and had the pleasure of working with some super well-known production companies like Nickelodeon, ITV, Princess Productions in the UK, and many, many, many more. I'll be your host today for this multi-sensory experience. Our specials today are tagliatelle, and for dessert, applause pie topped with whipped screen. By the way, I write all my own jokes, because I'm really talented. And what you'll find is we're speaking to somebody who actually does that for a living. Maybe she can give me some tips. So look, why have we decided to do Facebook Live? Why are we together? Well, it's because through adversity in this very uncertain time, we need to come together. In the TV industry, our lives have always been super volatile. My family and friends have seen me go through so many phases and of being employed, unemployed. You know, the many times I've heard, why don't you get a proper job? Well, because I love what I do. And, you know, it sometimes doesn't compute when people are like, yeah, but you're not working all the time. Well, look, that's us. We're a bit crazy to be taking on these gigs. But I'm hoping in this time of adversity, we can come together and start building the new phase of what this industry can be and always has been. So that's why we're doing it. We're also here to learn from exceptional industry experts. We've now spoken to, 12 mind-blowing people. And coming up today, we'll be meeting actor, writer, creator, survivor, and founder of Sweary Canary. So we'll be talking about how it feels to be labelled toxic. No, not toxic. Exotic. Oh, she's going to get me for that one. How it feels to be labelled exotic. This is why I'm wearing this headband. It's very exotic. It's very jungle. The hard knocks of pitching and funding. How to offend grandma in 3 easy steps. There's a lot to learn today, so stay tuned because it's going to get juicy. All right? Now, in terms of news of what's going on in the industry, there are lots of jobs being advertised on Facebook in terms of Australian TV, Australia I Need TV crew. So I know that there's a web series in Brisbane looking for all sorts of roles. Runners are needed for different shows, makeup artists, drone assistants, After Effects artists. There's a lot. So don't forget to keep looking and keep looking every day because there are new roles popping up. So put yourself out there. You never know. So far we have met in Series 2, executive producer and founding mother of Australian TV, Virginia Hodgson. Episode 2 was network executive turned software CEO of Lumi Media, Karen Dewey. Talk about getting your teeth into something interesting. Those two were spectacular. Speaking of spectacular, this week, I'd like to welcome a very special guest, a consummate performer, a bon vivant and raconteur, and a fan of slowly peeled bananas. Actor, TV host, comedian, and creator of content that tickles and tantalizes. She's a boss lady from Sweary Canary. It's Kristy Best.
I don't know what to do with that. That's like, it's okay. It's exciting. I'm excited. They're excited. The chipmunks that were just screaming out.
Do you like my chipmunks?
It's very good. It feels like it's a live audience, I guess. Yes.
It feels so real, doesn't it? They actually live in the computer.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
I'll have to talk to them later.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm fanning out a little bit because I just love what you do, and this is why I'm so honored that you're taking the time out to join us. Listen, how has lockdown treated you? I mean, you're a writer, actor, creator. What do you do when you can't go anywhere?
Netflix. No, look, it hasn't been too bad. I got married during lockdown, so that's fun. It took some time up.
As you do.
As you do.
Congratulations.
Anyway, thank you. So that was good. But yeah, look, because I live in the country, I definitely feel less anxious in these wide open spaces about the whole thing. And recently I was like, I need to take some time away from social media, and I think sometimes too much news can be bad for you. So I'm just kind of cocooning and trying to write and do my own creative thing and not be too influenced by what's going on out there.
Well, as I say, I'm glad you're safe. I'm glad you're well.
Yeah.
And And you see, you're kind of a sitting duck for people like me because I go, no, you have to talk to me. You've got nothing else to do. Meh, meh, right?
Yeah, well, true. I mean, what are you doing? You can leave the house to do some exercise, but otherwise, or shop, but you should be at home. So everyone should be available.
Yeah, yeah. Everyone should be available. And you know who I'm talking about. I have to tell you, it's not that you were second choice this week. Osher Ginsburg was due to join us.
Yeah.
Couldn't.
And I've been on set with him before, and we got catering because he was there. So
Woo! Yeah, you get good food with Osher. But one thing I will say is, it's for a very good reason, and I think we're going to excuse him. I think we're going to excuse him because he's coming on in a few weeks. We'll just have to be patient.
Right. Yes.
So I'm pretty happy with this golden, fabulous lady that you are, and what we get to talk about. Now, if people don't know you, you created Sweary Canary, and which is, in your own words, we make unapologetic content for female audiences.
Yes.
So what does that mean?
Basically, I kind of felt like often, and not all the time, we're kind of put into a very specific box. You are the mother or the single girl trying to find a man, and they are real stories. No one's saying that they're not, but I just felt like we don't often do the dark underbelly and the dirtiness of being female, and like with the Narcissist series, it was a real take from my life. It was me being honest about the mess that I got myself into thanks to having poor boundaries and a multitude of other things that I needed to look at in my life. And I personally like to see those stories where you can see yourself and see that it's okay to be incredibly flawed and to be still working it out. No one's perfect.
Well, I think you'll find I am. I am pretty damn perfect.
Yes. It's a great intro, so I was like, okay,
yes,
I understand now. I understand where the bar is.
I want to come back. I love that you're doing this. I think it's really important and it resonates. It really goes to the core of the female condition. Now, if anyone hasn't watched this, please do it immediately. Well, once we finish talking. Your web series is How to Tell If You're Dating a Narcissist.
How to know, yeah.
And and this is coming from your own experience. It is close to the bone. It's edgy. It's hilarious. I have shared it with several female friends of mine who have dated narcissists, and they've gone, "Oh my God, that's him."
Yeah.
So I love it, and I think your writing is immaculate. What reactions have you had?
It's a tough sell. Putting a woman of colour saying the C word, doing like miming blowjobs. It's a lot.
Oh my God, you didn't just say that. Sorry, kids.
Yeah, right. Sorry, miming things. It's a lot for people to take on. And I think, for the most part, women have been incredibly supportive, and there have been men that have been supportive as well. But I guess I've heard around about town people feeling uncomfortable with the language, with me speaking that way, with the way that it's packaged. So, apart from that, for me, I feel like it's resonated with the audience that I needed to reach. And I've had these great conversations with women that I've never met, and people get it, or they recognise themselves in it, and it's given them a freedom to say, oh, that was me. Oh, I'm not alone. I thought it was just me. I didn't think anyone else was being treated like this, or I felt like a failure, so I never shared this. And so some conversations have started out of it, and I think that's the most important thing. That was the goal anyway.
Absolutely. Well, it's very impactful, very impactful. And to be able to make a difference like that, I think is what we're all here for, surely. There's no point making content that doesn't make an impact. That's what I think. What's the point?
No. And I think we've got a lot of people being their flawed selves, whatever that means, online now, and people are trying to share that and be the everyday girl. But I think maybe this goes to a kind of a bigger, dirtier level.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's fantastic. So Grandma wasn't best pleased.
No, I did. At one point, we did put together a teaser that was pretty much all the swear word moments together, and I showed it to her stupidly because I thought,
because that's the first thing you do. Hold on, Grandma. Let me see what content I have to show you. Yep, this is the sweariest one. Here you go.
Yeah, and she's 94. Like, and being a Sagittarius, I'm just like, hey, this is me. Like, you should know who I am. I'm not going to hide who I am. And she wasn't comfortable, and she has told people that she doesn't like the series, but she hasn't watched the series. So we constantly get into these moments where she goes, I don't like it. And I said, you haven't seen it, so you can't say you don't like it. You can say you prefer not to watch it. It's different. But yeah, she doesn't want me being that person, which is me.
Well, I'm kind of not. I have to say, it's not a massive shock horror to me, because generationally,
yeah,
words like that passing a lady's mouth would have been horrifying.
Yeah.
And so I can see that maybe that's not relatable. Oh, she's frozen. Are you back? Hello. Can you hear me?
Sorry, just froze for a moment.
Yeah, we all froze on this.
You was like,
that's just my normal stance. Yeah, I'm glad you noticed.
Good.
So,
yeah.
So you were saying that, you've got something to say. You've got a lot to say. And
I don't want it to censor it. I don't understand why we have to censor ourselves, when it's our own story.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to sugarcoat anything. I've wanted to share what I'd experienced, and I wanted to be real about it and get people to see that it's serious. You can spend your whole life putting yourself in those situations, and then you just waste your life and you go through a lot of misery. So let's not do that anymore.
Let's not do that.
Yeah.
And, you're coming from a scripted perspective. I think most people know my background is in unscripted, which means we script in different ways. Of course, there is always script in what we do, because it may be in direction, or it may be in format, maybe for the hosts, usually for the hosts, but it may be in post for voiceovers. So we're always scripting too. But in the scripted world, how have you found it in Australia, pitching and trying to get your content noticed?
Yeah, so I've had very little experience being in the room in that traditional sense of, hi, I'm here to pitch my show, and like, here's my pitch deck and all of those things. I've done the hustle emails and tried to reach out to people, and I found it incredibly difficult. And it does feel like dating, and you do definitely get ghosted, where people seem interested, and then it's like they don't know how to say, I can't get this past the powers that be here, so they just fade out instead, which is also frustrating because you're doing your best to find a home for your content or extra funding or whatever it might be. So from the little I've experienced, I've found it, really, really tough. And I guess there are some people out there that probably have the magic that can make it happen like that, but I am yet to get there.
You were auditioning as a young girl here in Australia from a very early age in the 80s. How did you find that?
It was so different back then. So it was like really late 80s, early 90s, and it was still kind of like a cattle call. You'd have these waiting rooms packed with children, packed with parents that had to get out of school to go to them, which they don't do anymore. And you go in by yourself. You wouldn't have an adult with you. It was really intimidating. Really honest conversations would occur where casting people would sometimes say things to me like, you just don't look Australian, and they would kind of feed me the reality very young, and it's kind of confusing. Like, it's a confusing thing to understand when you believe that being Australian is about where you're born and what you identify with. And so it kind of taught me a bit about race, and that kind of, I guess, anchored me in this perception that I would always have issue with how I look in the industry. This was always going to be an obstacle that I would have to try to get over, which maybe I probably didn't need to know that young.
Well,
But
yeah, that therein opens the whole debate about, whether mums and dads should be putting their kids into, the public eye at a very young age.
yeah, totally. I think people are a bit more careful now with what they say, and and parents can be in the room, and you're not missing out on school debate auditions and all of those things. So that's really great. That's a really positive step. I can't imagine any casting director I know that's currently working in Sydney ever saying something like that to a child. But I mean, stuff like that was said to me even in my late teens, early 20s. It's not that long ago that people felt comfortable expressing that. And it's you missed out because of your ethnicity. And you're like, okay, great. Anyway, let's move on. Yeah.
And so you've got a Sri Lankan background and an Australian background, correct?
Yeah. So my mum's Sri Lankan, my dad's white Australian, which I was kind of the only one in the village growing up. There are no mixed race kids around. So the whole biracial thing, it's great to see that kids everywhere now are mixed, and
So
I
good.
get excited for them because I'm like, oh, you're me, but I never had you around when I was little. I would have loved that, to share those stories. But I'm really hoping we move into the mixed race arena at some point with storytelling. I think there's a lot of people older than me that are mixed race in this country too, and we kind of get left out of the conversation a lot.
Yeah, I know this, I hear this, I see it. I think it's also about an approach, and I can see things changing. Not quickly enough, but things are changing. I feel it in this country.
Yeah.
There are some steps in the right direction, I think.
Yeah. But I think, one of the things I said to Screen Oz when I approached them for post-funding for the Narcissist, and I was really frank in my video, and I just said, look, I'm not making a web series about race. It's not about making fun of my brownness. It's about something that everyone, not everybody, all the silly people like me can sometimes go through. And I want to see more comedy that is about that isn't just the ethnic joke on TV. I really think we need to move beyond that also. We've been doing that for 30 years.
Yeah, absolutely. I find it really monotonous. I have to be completely honest with you. When I see a comedian, which is 99% of the time, especially a US comedian, begin their set with a race joke, black or white,
Yeah.
I'm out. I'm
Yeah.
actually out,
Really
because
boring. Yeah.
it's, there's a lot we can talk about in life, and there's so much we can identify with in life. I
Yes.
just think, I want to hear how talented you are. Tell me what you have to say. Tell me what you have to say,
Yeah.
Anyway, yes. Anyway, we could talk for hours, darling.
Yeah. Of course.
Talk for hours. Look, I did want to say we've had a few lovely comments.
Oh. Wish I could do that.
So, Sarah in Oxford, England, is asking, did you say spider bite? I knew I'd get the Europeans with that.
Yeah.
That woke them up. They're like, I'm here. What? I did actually have a spider bite. But yes, the leg is slightly numb. Not sure if we need to have it removed or not, but we'll see. Tara, production assistant, says, your jokes are really, really great.
Oh.
She has to say that. She works with me, so
That's nice.
that's very nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Deb Davis is agreeing with us and agreeing with you in terms of being appreciated for who we are and what we have to offer. Yeah, Deb.
She's a good supporter, Deb.
Yeah, she's amazing.
She really is behind everyone.
Everybody. She's amazing.
Yeah.
Deb, we love you.
Yeah.
So, look, I would really, really love to hear from everybody. I want you, give me your likes, give me your hearts, give me your thumbs up, ask questions, send a message. Guys, just send a message. This is lovely. Thank you for your comments. We have a question. What's in store for Sweary Canary?
Good question. Working on a few things at the moment. They're all politically incorrect, so I'm not entirely sure if anyone will want them. Whoops. But if I can find a way to get the money, I was thinking about robbing a bank.
Yep.
make it and just put it out there into the world and let it find its audience, because
Great idea.
I'm loving this stuff. I'm sure there are other people like me. I'm not the only person that likes irreverent content. So, yeah, just got to make it, right? You just got to make it. You can't just change yourself just to suit the rest of the world.
You are a true rebel with a cause. I love that, because I'm kind of like this. What's she going to say next? She might say the poo word, or she might, I love it. You've got me on the edge of my seat. By the way, kids, she's not really going to rob a bank. Please don't go out robbing banks for the sake of content creation.
Rob a Bitcoin bank.
If you can get in.
Is that not how it's done these days? I don't know. It feels like the modern thing to do.
Well, as I understand, and I obviously know not about these technical things, the munchkins in the computer who do the applause, they have the Bitcoin.
Ah.
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's a very small coin. They're small, so their coins have to be tiny, right?
Possibly. Yeah. Possibly.
That's my theory. Anyway, moving on. Look, I think just to wrap up, I would love to know what your advice for up-and-coming young, or not young, creatives is. Because I have a lot of people coming to me going, I've got this great idea for a series, I've got a great idea for a movie, or a great idea for a webinar. How do you start? Where do you begin?
I just think you have to make the assumption that no one's going to help you. I know that sounds awful, but people generally don't. And you've got to basically work out how you can make it yourself. Because at present, you're probably just a person with an idea that seems like a great person. And there are some people that will bother to give you some advice, but they probably have their own projects and don't have time to help you, and also don't want to invest into someone that hasn't proven themselves yet. It's almost like going to a bank for a home loan. They're like, well, what are you already earning? And you're like, oh, I haven't started earning yet. Yeah. So people back away from the train, and it's an unfortunate thing. And I think culturally we need to shift a bit in Australia on that front, because otherwise we're going to miss out on some great stories. But it's what happens. So if there's any way, even if it's something, a small version of what you want to do, if you want to make a feature, do a short version, like a short film, to show people what it is you believe you can create. Give them an idea of what's going on inside your head. Because it never ceases to amaze me how people don't follow when you explain. Even if you give them a pitch deck, they can't get their head around it unless you're saying it's basically, Gilmore Girls meets Headers. Like, unless you give them two things that they completely understand, they will never be on board with you. It's like speaking to automatons. So you've got to create something and go, this is what it is. And I would love for you to get behind me and support me. And then if that's not going to happen, you got to fundraise and you just got to do it yourself. I just think, there's no point waiting. Don't wait for anybody.
That is such incredible advice. I'm taking it myself, because it's hard. And if you are very rarely, as a creator of a format or a show or a movie, very, very rarely do you have the money to make that show.
No way. And you know what? Like, it's another issue that I think we're facing, where there are a bunch of people that make stuff because they grew up with money and they have the money to do it. And then there are a bunch of us that do not have those resources, that have been completely left out in the cold and have had to work it out ourselves. And that is just how the cookie crumbles. Yeah. And you have to deal with it, and you have to show people what you can do. And unfortunately, the first thing you make still won't make a difference, but you just have to be able to keep on going and keep believing in what it is you want to do.
I think what you have done, the work that you have done, the talent that you're carrying and utilizing in your work is mind-blowing. And that's what I was attracted to when I saw your video, and I pounced, and I've been stalking you for quite some time. We've been having conversations back and forth for maybe 2 years.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it's been a while.
I finally got you.
finally got to meet. But it's a hard thing, right? Like, even when I stumbled across you, I saw you on LinkedIn first, and I read what you had done, and I thought, you're someone that would have the expertise and the understanding, and I think you'd be a great mentor. And that's originally why I tried to connect with you, because I thought if I had something that would be perfect to take to you, I would. And I think you have to look for the right people. And sometimes people will be like, oh, I'm not really into what you do. And you just have to go, cool. They're not saying what I do sucks. It's just not in their wheelhouse.
Yep.
And then you have to keep researching who else is out in the world that might be able to be generous with you or support you.
That's all we need. And somebody who can see where you're coming from and where you're going. They understand the motivation. They can see what you stand for. And people who get behind that are amazing. And those who don't, it doesn't matter. Not everything is for everybody.
It's not. And like particularly the stuff I want to make, you know, some of my closest girlfriends have been like, oh my goodness, that's full on, Kristy. And I'm like, oh, bugger, because, you know, like they're producers and stuff. Like I know a lot of great producers, but they make really pretty dramas and heartwarming stories, and I do not exist in their world, you know, so I can't make them do something with me. And it's like dating. It's going to take me a while to meet my producer that's like, all right, I'm down for the cause. This is kind of crazy. You're a bit loopy, but let's do this.
Well, you know, sometimes two people come together as one for a reason. Watch this space, people. Okay? Watch this space.
Norwegian connection.
That's right. Kristy Best, the talented, the fantastic, the vivacious, the edgy. Thank you so much for joining us. It's such an honor. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
She forgot to say goodbye. See, I said so many nice things that she was stumped. Couldn't say goodbye. Bye, Kristy. Thank you so much for joining us.
Appreciate it.
Mwah. What a lady. What a lady. What a lady. Ah, see, again, I'm on a high. I'm happy. That has been so enriching. She's a lady that lives on the edge. She speaks her mind. She doesn't hold back. And I think that's what creativity is about. To have a platform to just speak your mind. Yay! So, guys, we've come to the end of episode 3. Look, don't forget, be prepared, be informed, upskill, upskill, upskill. Remember? Now, guys, just let me remind you of what's going on. I have news. The Shooter Producer course has been postponed. So you may be jumping for joy, or you may be going, dagnammit. Either way, it will be on the 21st of August. That's the date we have at the moment. It's because, and it makes perfect sense, the fantastic Andre Evis is literally doing something fabulous. And we can't hold him back. So we have rescheduled that from the 31st of July to the 21st of August, which is a Friday. So again, put it in your diary, tell your boss you've got something more important to do, and come and be with us for one day. It's giving us that upskilling as producers to really understand how to operate your equipment, how to direct and produce at the same time, and also how to understand what it takes to be a shooter producer. It's what most production companies are looking for now. And it's a really exciting gig, actually. It's a really cool gig. So anyway, I hope you'll enjoy that. Get your tickets early, though. Because of COVID, our numbers are tiny. Literally, it's 8 people. There are 8 places on this course. So chop, 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 chop. Hard sell. Do you like that? No, it's serious. I really want to make sure that everybody gets the skills they need. So thank you for watching How to Come Out on Top. Next week, we have a very special guest, Denise Erickson. I mentioned her earlier because she was a mentor on the last course. ABC, SBS, boss lady, look out. She's the most amazing mentor I've ever known. She runs Mentors Australia. Ha! She's mentored me. She changed my life, actually. So it's going to be an honor to have her on. The following week, Geraldine Orrock, who's an executive producer based in Singapore. Wait till you hear about her. Andy Tuia, who is host of SBS Pop Asia. Osher Ginsberg, who we've spoken about many times. The lovemaker, the presenter, the host. And then we have, hopefully, Colin Fassnidge at some stage will join us. He's a TV chef and a restaurateur and a cheeky chappy. Anyway, lots coming up. If you have any questions, get in touch, send me an email, and people have been, which has been great. I had a lovely chat with a very beautiful lady today, and every day I'm talking to somebody about what their next career move is and what we can do for them. So, info@bloomtimemedia.com. Check out the website, bloomtimemedia.com. And our YouTube channel has 7 followers, subscribers. It's amazing. And when I say 7, I mean 7 million. Honest guff. Anyway, I want to say a massive, massive thank you to Kristy Best for your invaluable time and go-gettedness. You've inspired us. You've inspired me. Thank you for joining us. Tara Johnson, Bloomtime Media Production Assistant. Our supporters who keep coming back, to all the attendees of the courses, to people who are staying in touch and growing the Bloomtime Media family. That's what I love. That's my juice, just to know that there are people here and part of what we're doing and pushing forward and slamming goals. Yes. Oh, by the way, one of our newest news is one of our mentees, Rebecca, just scored herself a role on a multi-million-dollar film set. Just saying, that's what happens when you join my courses. Thank you, everybody. Take care of yourselves. Be prepared. Be informed. Stand out and be outstanding. I will see you next week, Wednesday, 4 o'clock. Can't wait to see you then. Bye.